Hello. Hey, it's good to see you again. I found another Lighthouse Keeper story. It's called The Lighthouse Keeper's Mystery. It's written by Rhonda and David Armitage, and it's a beautiful scholastic book. The Lighthouse Keeper's Mystery. Mr. and Mrs. Grinling live with their cat Hamish in a little white cottage perched high on the cliffs. Mr. Grinling was a retired lighthouse keeper, and he still kept the lighthouse spick and span for the visitors who came to look around. And there's their cat Hamish. As it was holiday time, the Grinlings' great-nephew George had come to stay. Mrs. Grinling was bustling around the kitchen. "Eat faster, you two. It's market day for Sally, so I'm in charge of Sally's cafe," she said. "George can help me in the lighthouse," said Mr. Grinling. And there is George. "The first job is a clean-up," said Mr. Grinling. "Could you please polish the light, George? Hamish can check for mice, and I'll pick up that rubbish on the rocks." "Where it all comes from is a mystery to me," muttered Mr. Grinling. He filled the basket and sent it off down the wire. There's the wire. Seagulls, Yvette, Rita and Gus spotted the basket. "Oh, strange looking lunch, Gus. Yuck, plastic stuff into the sea." "Oh, goody, Rita, Mr. Grinling's lunch." "Shoo, shoo, you seagulls. No rubbish in the sea," shouted George. "Great work, George," said Mr. Grinling. "Now it's time to tackle the beach." "Picking up rubbish on my first day? That's not fair," complained George. "Everybody should pick up their own rubbish, and then it wouldn't end up in the water." "You're right," said Mr. Grinling, "but there's so much here. I think some of this rubbish has been dumped out at sea." "Oh dear, that's not too good, is it? We don't want rubbish in the sea." No. "But what about the sea creatures, Uncle G?" Deep down below all was not well. Lobster's claw was caught in a baked bean can. Shark had chewed an old lilo and now it was stuck in her sharp teeth. Baby seal couldn't catch any breakfast. He was tangled in old plastic fishing nets. Octopus had to bundle plastic straws and yogurt pots out of her house. Oh dear, it's really not very good. Wonder what's going to happen, if they can help fix it. Very early on Wednesday morning, Mr. Grinling noticed something strange out at sea. Very early on Thursday morning, Mr. Grinling peered again. On Friday morning, Mr. Grinling woke George. "See that boat, George? This is the third morning it's been there by Tiny Island. I think it's dumping rubbish. We must catch them." "Oh, it's probably trash pirates," said George. "I know a thing or two about pirates, Uncle G. I'd better take my sword." Here they are, having a look. As the sun was rising, Mr. Grinling, George and Hamish put out to sea. The kittiwake pulled gently through the white-tipped waves. "No dolphins?" asked George. Mr. Grinling shook his head. "No dolphins, George. Not for a long time. Once the sea is cleared of rubbish, they might return." There they are, heading off. "I can hear something," said George. Put, 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 put. Mr. Grinling nudged the kittiwake near the rocks. "Ahoy there!" shouted George. waving his sword. "Sit down, George, you'll fall in," said Mr. Grinling sternly. Too late. The kittiwake hit a rock, but it was Mr. Grinling who fell. Splash! Head over heels into the sea. George didn't notice. It was Hamish who threw out a rope. George was too busy yelling, "Trash, pirates!" Oh, and the seagull says, "How's the water?" Oh dear, poor Mr. Grinling falling into the water. Just as well, he's a good swimmer. "Not trash pirates, we're fisher folk," called a voice, and Captain Cod invited Mr. Grinling and George on board. "I don't throw plastic rubbish in the sea, I fish it out. More plastic than fish." George pulled a plastic bag from the rubbish. "Uncle G, look at this turtle. I can't get it out." George lifted the bag very carefully. The turtle didn't move. "The poor fellow. We'll take him back to the beach to show everyone," said Mr. Grinling. Now that is a sad state of affairs, isn't it? It's not very good at all. At the beach, Mr. Grinling called out, "Please gather round, everyone. Sea creatures get hurt when our plastic rubbish goes into the sea, like this fellow here." Once everyone had seen the turtle, George laid him gently into the water. "Bye, little turtle." Everyone agreed it was time for some big changes. Oh, poor little thing. Well, I hope they can make some big changes. Mr. Grinling set up a very large recycling bin. He and Jason the postman painted it. And it's in the shape of a whale. Feed this whale, not the sea. Sally and Mrs. Grinling put up posters at the cafe. Our beach, keep it clean. 5-minute beach clean. The seagull snatched some lunch from the basket. Faster, faster, Hamish. Chase those seagulls away. At the end of the week, everyone had collected all the rubbish from the beach. Mr. Grinling was appointed the new beach warden, making sure the beach stayed rubbish-free. 3 cheers, he cried, and now it's time for the clean beach barbecue. Sally's Cafe. No rubbish sold in this cafe. You are invited to the Clean Beach Barbecue. Meet your new beach warden, Mr. Grinling. And there we are. What a cool job he's got now. While the grown-ups cooked, the children played with the clean, wet sand. Welcome to the Clean Beach Barbecue. And there they all are, having such a wonderful time. Now the beach is free of dirt and plastic rubbish. It was a glorious barbecue. Later, as the sun set, the children splashed in the waves, but not until every piece of rubbish had been put into the sea. No, into the bins. Yes. They're a bit tricky, aren't they? And there is our fresh, clean sea. Well, what a good story that is. I hope that when you go to the beach, you can make sure that you take your rubbish with you too. Until next time, ka kite. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more stories. Bye.